14th place. Manchester United, need I say more?
Oh, I know, right?
It's a club drowning in history, a global behemoth. And right now, they look like they could use a life raft.
Yeah.
The recent sacking of Erik ten Hag, yeah, it made headlines, but we're not here to rehash the past. You're here because you want to know who's next.
That's right.
We've got a dossier on the potential replacements, familiar faces, dark horses. We're diving deep into what each one brings to or maybe takes from the table.
Ooh, takes from the table. Interesting.
And hey, even if you're not a diehard football fan, stick with us. This is a masterclass in leadership strategy and ambition under pressure.
Yeah, what's fascinating here is the sheer weight of expectation that comes with this job. Imagine the pressure cooker of managing a team with millions of fans worldwide, a legacy to uphold, and financial stakes that can make your head spin.
Okay, let's start with someone already feeling that heat. Ruben Nistelrooy went from Ten Hag's assistant to the interim manager. Talk about trial by fire.
Wow.
Is this a genuine shot of the job or a glorified audition?
It's a tightrope walk, that's for sure. Van Nistelrooy was a goal-scoring machine for United. He bleeds the club's colors, but translating that on-field brilliance to the manager's seat,
Right.
that's a whole different ballgame.
He's not a complete newbie, though. Snagged a Dutch Cup with PSV Eindhoven, so there's some managerial experience.
Yeah.
Still, the Old Trafford pressure cooker,
Yeah.
that's next level, makes you wonder if the board is hoping for a Solskjaer-esque miracle.
Solskjaer, that initial burst of magic had fans believing in fairy tales again. Then reality, a bit hard. His second stint ended well, not so happily ever after.
Right.
And this is where it gets interesting, Solskjaer has a connection with the fans that's hard to replicate. Does that sentimentality sway a board making a multi-million-pound decision?
Maybe. But sentimentality doesn't win trophies, does it? And that's where a name like Graham Potter comes in, took Brighton from underdog darlings to a legitimate force.
Yeah.
Then Chelsea happened and, well, let's just say it wasn't the fairy tale ending he'd hoped for.
Potter's story is a stark reminder that club culture is everything. Brighton's success was built on a specific philosophy, a certain synergy, trying to transplant that to a giant like Chelsea.
Oh, yeah.
It's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
Yeah.
And Manchester United, they've got their own unique DNA, their own demons to wrestle with.
There's also that intriguing Ineos link with Potter, Jim Ratcliffe, the new co-owner.
Right.
Apparently he's been a Potter fan for a while. Could that tip the scales?
Don't underestimate the power of ownership in these scenarios. We've seen it time and again. A chairman's preference can make or break a manager's career now. Whether Ratcliffe's vision aligns with Potter's style and what that means for Manchester United's future, that's a whole other rabbit hole we could dive down.
All right, buckle up, folks. We're heading across the channel for our next contender, Gareth Southgate. Fresh off the roller coaster of international management, he said he needs a break. But could the allure of Old Trafford be enough to tempt him back into the fray?
Let's be honest, managing a national team is like carrying the hopes and dreams of an entire nation on your shoulders. The media scrutiny, the pressure to perform on the biggest stage, it takes its toll. Southgate is a strategist, a thinker. He won't jump back in unless it's the right fit for him. And the question is, does he see Manchester United as that perfect fit?
From the international stage to a domestic success story, Thomas Frank, he's worked wonders at Brentford, transforming them into a solid Premier League outfit that's got to have bigger clubs drooling right.
Frank's tactical prowess is undeniable. It's not just about formations on a whiteboard. It's about understanding your players, their strengths, their limitations. Take a look at Brentford's midfield under Frank's. He built a system where every player thrived, maximizing their individual talents to create a cohesive and dangerous unit. Could he replicate that magic with the star-studded squad at United? That's the question.
Here's the snag, though. Frank is locked into a Brentford contract until 2027. Even for a club with Manchester United's resources, prying him away wouldn't be easy or cheap.
Contract negotiations in football are a high-stakes poker game. We're talking massive transfer fees, hefty salaries, and clauses that could make your head spin. Manchester United could certainly afford it, but is Frank willing to leave a club where he's built a legacy, where he's clearly thriving for the pressure cooker of Old Trafford?
Right.
That's the gamble.
And speaking of gambles, how about Kieran McKenna, former United coach, now leading Ipswich Town through a meteoric rise, back-to-back promotions?
Wow.
That's not luck, that's talent.
McKenna's trajectory is fascinating. There's that prodigal son narrative, a young manager returning to his roots. But managing Ipswich and managing a club like Manchester United are two vastly different beasts. Ipswich is about rebuilding, about exceeding expectations, Manchester United.
Right.
It's about meeting sky-high expectations week in, week out with the entire world watching.
And Ipswich just handed him a shiny new contract, which means he's in demand. Would he risk his burgeoning career for the pressure cooker of Old Trafford?
Yeah.
It would take a bold move from both sides.
And that's what makes this whole managerial search so captivating, isn't it? The risks, the rewards, the human stories behind these decisions. It's a reminder that football is about more than just tactics and formations. It's about ambition, it's about legacy, and it's about taking a chance on someone who might just be the missing piece of the puzzle. And as we delve deeper into this pool of candidates, it's clear that Manchester United's net is cast wide. They're not just looking at homegrown talent.
Yeah.
They're scouting the global stage.
Right.
Ruben Amorim, currently at Sporting Lisbon.
Sporting Lisbon.
Is a name that keeps popping up.
Yeah.
This guy's been winning titles, playing a dynamic, attacking brand of football that has fans on the edge of their seats.
Word on the street is even Manchester City has him on their radar as a potential successor to Pep Guardiola.
Oh, wow.
That's saying something. I mean, if Guardiola sees a potential in you, he must be doing something right.
It's a testament to Amorim's tactical acumen and his ability to build a winning culture. He's hungry, he's innovative, and he's not afraid to take risks. But think about it from his perspective.
Yeah.
Would he leave a club like Sporting, where he's the top dog mid-season for the pressure cooker of Old Trafford?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
That's a decision that requires weighing ambition against stability.
If I were on that board, I'd be asking myself, what does Manchester United need right now? A steady hand, a revolutionary. And does Amorim fit that bill?
Yeah.
It's a gamble, no doubt, but sometimes the biggest risks yield the biggest rewards.
Speaking of proven winners, we can't ignore the elephant in the room, can we?
No.
A manager who embodies both experience and a certain mystique, Xavi.
Xavi, okay.
Fresh off leading Barcelona to a La Liga title, he knows what it takes to rebuild a giant.
For those of you who might not follow La Liga religiously, Xavi is practically synonymous with Barcelona. He's steeped in their philosophy of possession-based football, that mesmerizing tiki-taka style that made them a global force. But he also took over at a turbulent time, inheriting a club in need of a serious overhaul.
And that's what makes him such an intriguing prospect for Manchester United. He didn't just win with Barcelona, he rebuilt their foundation, instilled a new sense of belief in the squad.
Yeah.
That experience, that ability to navigate a club through transition could be invaluable at Old Trafford.
But here's the rub. Barcelona and Manchester United, despite both being European giants, are worlds apart in terms of culture and playing style.
Right.
Could Xavi's methods, so deeply rooted in the Barcelona way, translate to the frenetic pace and physicality of the Premier League? That's a question that keeps me up at night.
It's a valid concern, and it leads us to the final name on our list, a name that evokes both reverence and a certain amount of what if. Zinedine Zidane, his resume speaks for itself, 2 La Liga titles, 3 Champions League trophies with Real Madrid.
Wow.
It's the kind of track record that makes even the most skeptical eyebrows raise.
This is a man who's managed some of the biggest egos in the game, who's thrived under the intense pressure of the Bernabeu. Yet there's always been this lingering question. The language barrier. Zidane has been reluctant to take on jobs in leagues where he's not fluent in the language. It's understandable. Communication is key in football management.
And that begs the question, is Manchester United at this juncture enticing enough to make Zidane reconsider his stance? Could the allure of restoring the sleeping giant to its former glory be enough to overcome the communication hurdle?
Right.
It's a fascinating dilemma, both for Zidane and for Manchester United.
You know what I find most captivating about this deep dive beyond the tactics and the transfer rumors is the human element.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about ambition, about legacy, about the courage to take a leap of faith. Each of these candidates has a story, a set of experiences that have shaped them.
And that's what makes this managerial search so compelling. It's not just about finding the best tactician or the most decorated coach. It's about finding the right fit. The individual whose personality and vision align with the soul of Manchester United. It's about finding someone who can not only manage a team, but inspire them, who can restore the belief that has seemingly gone missing in recent years.
And that brings us to the million-dollar question, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If you were sitting in that boardroom with the weight of history on your shoulders and the hopes of millions of fans resting on your decision, what would you prioritize? Would you go for the safe bet, the familiar face?
Yeah.
Or would you roll the dice on someone who might just set Old Trafford alight again? It's like we've laid out all the pieces on a giant chessboard, the seasoned veterans, ambitious newcomers, each with their own strengths and weaknesses.
Right.
And the pressure's on for Manchester United to make the right move. But what's really fascinating is how this whole saga reflects a much bigger shift happening in football.
Exactly. It's not just about drawing up plays and picking the right formation anymore. The modern football manager has to be a multifaceted leader.
Yeah.
They need tactical brilliance, sure, but also the ability to handle the media circus, manage egos within a star-studded squad, and navigate the ever-increasing pressure from fans and ownership.
And let's be real, the pressure at Manchester United is on another level.
Oh, yeah.
They're not just expected to win. They're expected to win with style, with panache, with the swagger that harkens back to their glory days.
Which is why this decision goes beyond just picking a competent coach. They need someone who can rebuild the very foundations of the club, someone who can instill a winning mentality, and someone who can connect with those demanding, passionate fans. It's a monumental task.
So let's cut to the chase. We've analyzed the candidates, we've debated the pros and cons, but now it's time for you to put on your board member hat. If you held the fate of Manchester United in your hands, who would get your vote?
It's the ultimate question, isn't it? And honestly, there's no easy answer. Each candidate brings something unique to the table. But if I were placing a bet, I'd keep a close eye on Ruben Amorim.
Okay.
His tactical style, that attacking flair, would inject a much-needed jolt of excitement into Old Trafford, and the fact that he's on Manchester City's radar, that speaks volumes about his potential.
It's like they say, keep your friends close and your enemies closer, right? But even with all his promise, there are no guarantees in football. Amorim could be a revelation, or he could crumble under the immense weight of expectations. And that's what makes this whole situation so gripping, isn't it?
Absolutely. We can speculate and analyze all we want, but ultimately the true test will play out on the pitch. And that's what we'll be watching for those subtle shifts in tactics, the team's response to the new manager, the slow or perhaps swift return of that Manchester United confidence.
So to everyone listening, consider this your invitation to the biggest show in football. The Manchester United saga is just getting started, and we'll be here to break down every twist, every turn, every goal, and every heartbreak. Buckle up, it's going to be a wild ride.